All right, as we get started today, page 454 in your textbooks, and we are working toward a quiz in our next lesson, lesson 170, over solving equations. And we've been working a lot on different types of equations, some equations where it's just with single steps, some easy stuff, some a little bit more involved, and some with negatives we have to be careful with. So on page 454, let's start with some practice here, doing numbers 1 through 7 on page 454. Page 454, doing numbers 1 through 7. Once you're finished with just those 7, pencil down and just look this way so I know that you're done. These are all pretty much 1 or 2 steps to solve. 1 to isolate the variable, though. So it's a little bit easier equations. Just don't make them hard by being careless and making careless mistakes. I didn't actually say to stand, but thank you. Let's take a look at these together. Number 1, what did you get for your answer, Joel? 9. Number 2, Corey? 3. Number 3, Elaine? Negative 3. Number 4, Michael?
That's equals 5.
5. Number 5, Kirsten?
Positive 4.
Positive 4, excellent. Number 6, a little bit more challenging here, Griffin?
P equals negative 6.
Negative 6. And then for number 7, Luciana?
M equals negative 3.6.
Ben?
M equals 4.8.
Closer. Jalen?
M equals 0.5.
Oh, the pain. We're right there.
M equals 5.
It's just 5. All right, so we need to definitely look at number 7 because that one gave us some fits. And I kind of felt like it might just because of the decimals. We have a 0.9m minus 0.3 equals 4.2. So the first key is we've got to get, and this is actually a 2-stepper here, to get the m by itself. I have to get rid of, class, the negative 0.3 by putting a
Positive.
on both sides. And I think we did that, many of us, to get the 0.9m equals
4.5.
4.5. Then we have to divide away the 0.9. Not subtract away, but divide away the 0.9. And since we can't divide by a decimal, we go boink, and we go boink. And now it's 45 divided by 9 equals 5. And I think in your case, Jalen, you were right there, just forgot the boinks, and hence had 0.5 for your answer. Questions on number 7. Questions on 7. All right. Questions on 1 through 6. Any of those 1 through 6? Because as we went through them, we were nailing these answers, but you might not have nailed the answers. Luciana? Number 3, we have a Q negative 12 is equal to negative 13, negative 2. First thing we have to combine is the negative 13, negative 2 to get?
Negative 15.
Negative 15. So you did that correctly. And then to get the Q by itself,
Add positive 12 on both sides.
and that's where we're going to get, let's see, signs are different, so we're going to subtract, choose the sign of the greater absolute value. Subtraction gives 3, but we keep the negative with it. Good. Yes, yes. All right, any other questions on the 1 through 6? Any others we need to see worked out? Anyone perfect 1 through 7? How about you got 6 out of 7? You only missed one of them. 6 out of 7 just missed one? 5 out of 7 just missed 2. Questions, because if we missed them today, we need to make sure we know what we're doing so we don't miss them tomorrow. Questions? All right, go on to numbers 8 through 15, going on to the top of the next page. Now going on to 8 through 15. Finished? I'm sorry? For shame, don't work ahead. A few people already finishing. Do take another minute or two to finish up. Skip to 12. Okay, going all the way to 15. Times 2 divided by 2. Then here, times 7. Right, so Make sure you do the opposite of what it has. Shh. Excuse me. Hush. Let's take a look at these together, and let's start with Luciana this time. Luciana, on this first problem here, tell me what to do. Walk me through the steps.
Okay. First, you gotta add the inverse, which is -8 to both sides. You get 3x equals 12.
Good, and follow the steps. Show these steps. For your sake, number one, it'll keep you from screwing something up. Number two, it gives you the chance at partial credit. All right, continue.
Divide 3x by 3 and do the same for 12. And you get x equals 4.
There we go. Great job. Looking at the next one, Ben, what do we need to do? Walk me through.
Subtract 6.
Good, because that's less attached than the 4. And what we do to one side, we'll do to the other side.
4.
So y over 4 equals 4. Okay, then what?
Cross out 4s.
No. What do I do to get the y by itself? I did something to get rid of the 6. I put a -6. So what do I do to get rid of this divided by 4?
Multiply 4.
On class? Both sides. What we did to one side, I gotta do the other side. So we're gonna multiply the other side by 4 also. That's gonna cancel, giving us y equals
16.
16. There we go. Look at the next one. We need to start by combining a little bit over here, Joel.
-3.
And now what?
And then you multiply the 6
On
side.
to get
Maybe 21.
u equals -21. Looking at the next one, Griffin, what do we need to do?
Subtract -3 on both sides, and you get 10 on -10.
Oh. The signs are the same.
Oh, -16.
Add and keep the sign, -16. So always thinking of those signed number rules as we go through these. So n-tooths, n over 2, n-halves, equals -16. Now what?
Multiply 2
On,
both sides,
and that gives us,
32.
oh,
-30.
-32. Be so careful with those
I had
negatives.
-32, I just wrote it weird.
Corey, look at the next one. This is number 12. Now, what do we need to do?
Multiply the 6 times the -7,
And we get?
-42.
All right, now what?
Now you gotta put a +7 on both sides.
To get?
7x equals 36. 35. -35.
There we go, -35. Be so careful with those negatives. And then?
Divide by 7.
To get?
X equals 6. -6. Wait. -5.
-5 is our answer there. Let's pause before we go on to the top of the next page. 8 through 12 questions. 8 through 12 questions. How many got 8 through 12 perfect? 8 through 12 perfect so far. All right, any questions there? Well, let's take a look at those last 3 problems then at the top of the next page. And Michael, help me with number 13. What do we need to do?
First, for the +5, we add a -5 on both sides. Then we subtract on both sides, and then we get 1/2 x equals 14. +14.
20 minus 5?
I mean, +15.
15, there we go. End of the year brain is kicking in hard, isn't it? Keep going.
And then we divide 1/2.
Technically, you're not wrong. We do technically divide 1/2, but we don't ever really divide a fraction. We would
Multiply by the reciprocal.
Right, so the better way to think of it is, don't think of divide away the 1/2. Better think of it as multiply by,
The reciprocal on both sides.
which is,
2/1.
there we go. So we're going to multiply that 2/1 on both sides. It has the same effect of canceling away that 1/2 for us, though, and we get
30.
x equals 30. And again, technically you are dividing the 1/2. It's just we think of it as multiplying by 2/1. Looking at the next one, we got an 11p, positive 3 is equal to 36. And let's go to Elaine. What do we need to do?
We need to add 3, subtract 3 on both sides to get LP equal 11p equals 33, and then you divide 11 on both sides to get p equals 30.
Excellent job. And then the last one, we had an n over 8 plus 13 equals 4 plus 11. I'm going to come back to Ben on this one. And Ben, talk me through it.
You add 4 and 11.
Excellent to get.
15.
And again, here I don't mind if we just kind of take a little bit of a shortcut here.
Then cross out 13.
Not yet, not till I put something with it. There has to be a reason to cross it out.
Negative 13.
Good. Like here I could cross out the negative 7 because I put a positive 7, or a positive 3 because I put a negative 3. So if I'll put a negative 13, now I can cross it out, but I also have to put,
It on the other side.
there we go. So I end up with
2
2 is equal to, on this side it still says
and 8.
n 8, or n over 8. Now, here's the question. What do I do to cross out that 8?
Multiply.
Bingo. Multiply by the 8. And what I do to one side,
Gotcha.
so I'm also going to multiply 8 over there, so I end up with?
N equals 16.
Excellent job there. How many got these answers for the 13 through 15 across the top of the page? All right, questions on these? Questions on these? All right, drop down now, if you would, into that little section of word problems, and you're going to write the equation and then solve. I want you to do just, don't work ahead now, 16, 18, and 20. Do just 16, 18, and 20. Do not work ahead into the other ones. Just do those 3. And my goal today is to figure out, is there anything we're struggling with? How can I help you overcome that struggle so we've got this down really well? Remember, if we're going to write an equation class, we have to have an equal sign. And what word are we looking for our equal sign? Is. In general, we're looking for verbs, but largely we're going to find that word is a lot of times. But any verb will do for the equal sign. What's the problem? Is that your lunchbox? Oh, it was in the hallway. Don't leave things in the hallway.
Free food.
Yeah, I already ate your lunch, but I'm sorry. It went to a worthy cause. I'm kidding. It's still in here.
Or is it?
I said when I put it on the table. I mean, Griffin came through later.
Threw it out the window.
All right, looks like we in here are all finished. If you need a little bit more time on the video, you can pause it, but we are finished in here now. Number 16, Griffin, what was your equation?
3a equals 27.
3a equals 27? So what does it mean when the 3 is up against the a?
Oh, multiplication.
So did it want us to say 3 times the number is 27?
Adding.
Oh, so what should we have written then?
3 plus a equals 27.
We could say that. We could say 3 plus a. equals 27. Now, I would prefer someone that we say a plus 3, right? Because the than would suggest flipping the order. But either one of these is fine as long as we added the 3 to the a and it equaled 27. So, Griffin, put a negative 3 on both sides. We should have had not 9, but rather 24 for our answer. How many had that for number 16? One of those equations and 24 as the answer. But it makes sense now. And again, the whole point of this lesson is let's find where we're struggling. Let's make sure we correct them. I'd a whole lot rather you make that mistake in class than on a quiz, right? So there we go. Number 18. What did we write for the equation on 18, Jalen?
B minus 6 equals negative 6.
Did you say B or V? B. It doesn't really matter. Either one is fine. But B minus 6 equals negative 6. And what did you get for your answer? 0 is correct. How many had this equation and you had 0 as your answer? 0 as your answer. Did anyone say 6 minus B or 6 minus the letter? You forgot to flip it? Yeah, it would have ended up with a negative 12 or something, or it would have been weird. Positive 12, negative 12, something like that if we got it backwards. Number 20. What was your equation? Joel?
7x equals 63.
7x equals 63, and your answer was? 9. X equals 9. How many had that equation and that answer for number 20? Any questions you say, I didn't get that equation, why isn't mine right? What did I do wrong? Any questions on 16, 18, 20? All right, let's go right across the column to the ones above the seashells in the hands. And let's do 17, 19, and 21 now. Same thing, write the equation and solve.
Probably not.
No one's heard anything? You
Nope.
just died.
I'm not gonna lie.
No, because here, 215, you have to put a negative 15 on both sides. Once you get rid of negative 15, you have to put a positive 15 on both sides. That's why it makes such a difference.
That sign is very true.
Do I hurt your feelings a lot? Sorry, Michael. It'll make you tougher.
It's more personal with Buter.
It's not that it hurts my feelings, it just sometimes it gets personal, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, these things happen. It's only personal because I love you, that's why. Yeah.
Love hurts.
If I didn't care about you, I would make it personal. All right, let's take a look at these together. Number 17. What was your equation, Luciana?
B minus 15 equals 15.
Excellent. B minus the 15. Let's then flip it around. And what was your answer for B?
B equals 67.
67 is correct. How many had that for number 17? All right, number 19. What was your equation? Kirsten.
X plus 46 equals negative 10.
Excellent. And what was your answer?
Negative 56.
Excellent job on that. How many have the same equation? Same answer on number 19. Question?
That negative.
Mine was just.
Lost the negative.
Mine was flipped the other way.
But again, with addition, you can flip, right? Because even if you write it this way, you'd be still putting a negative 46 on both sides, right? So technically with addition it doesn't matter because addition is commutative. Subtraction it matters though because it makes the wrong one negative if you get it backwards.
So would it be like right on the quiz or test?
I would still give you credit for it. Yeah, it's just subtraction is the one you absolutely have to flip because of the word than. I would prefer you get used to flipping in addition, though here there wasn't a than, it just said the sum, so you're going to add, of a number, I don't know, x, and 46. So this is literally just taking the order they gave, but it's not wrong to say 46 plus x. Good question. Number 21. Ooh, what did you get for this one, Corey?
1/5y equals 3.
1/5 y equals 3, like that. All right, and great job. And what did you get for your answer?
I got 15.
Y equals 15 is correct. How many had the same equation, same answer on number 21? All right, any questions on 17, 19, 21? Any questions, 17, 19, 21? Anyone perfect? 3 for 3 on those? Anyone go 6 for 6 on all 6 of these word problems we were doing? All right, let's take a look at a couple that are a little bit more involved here. Number 22, read that for us if you would, Griffin.
Elijah collected 4 times as many seashells as Ivy. If Elijah has 44 seashells, how many seashells does Ivy have?
All right, so once again, there's a couple people mentioned here. It's not like the last problem class where it's only a number, right? There's a couple people mentioned, so we should probably jot them down. Who are the 2 people mentioned here, Griffin? The rest of you doing this off to the side.
Elijah and Ivy.
Elijah and Ivy. And who do we already know, Griffin?
Ivy. Elijah.
We already know Elijah. We know he has
44.
seashells, but we don't know anything about Ivy. So we could represent Ivy's seashell collection S, because, you know, we don't know how many seashells she has. Maybe she sells seashells by the seashore. I don't know. Anyway, but we need to look. We look at the first sentence, and that kind of compares the 2 things together, and that's where we're looking. We're looking to see when it compares these 2 people to each other. Read that first sentence again for us, Griffin.
Elijah collected 4 times as many seashells as Ivy.
Elijah, well, we know what that is. Collected, that's our verb. So class, that's our equal sign. 4 times as many as Ivy. Well, if Ivy is S, at your seats, write the equation and solve.
Okay.
At your seats, write the equation and solve. Is that a question or an I got it, Ben? Class, we can replace Elijah in that sentence with what?
44.
44, because that's how many he collected. So instead of Elijah collected, well, 44. And instead of collected, class, we said that's our verb, so that gets replaced with our equal sign. And when it says times as many as, that tells me we're supposed to multiply. And instead of Ivy, class, we could put S. Well, or he chose S. So in other words, if we condense it just a little bit smaller so it doesn't look so weird, 44 equals 4S. How many had that equation? Or perhaps you don't like the S being on that side. You said, well, if 44 equals 4S, then 4S equals 44. And you had one of those 2 equations. Do you see how it's literally a word-for-word substitution? You plug the number in for this name, you plug the letter in for that name, you find your verb, you put your equal sign. You literally just change it all out. And when we solve pretty easy solving, divide away the 4 class, we do get Ivy collected 11 seashells. Questions on number 22? Let's take a look at number 23. This one's even a little trickier. Jalen.
1/6 of the items. 1/6 of the items Oscar recycled for glass. If Oscar recycled 25 glass items, how many total items did he recycle?
All right. And so there's 2 things kind of referenced here. What are the two things that are kind of referenced here, Jalen?
How many glass items?
How many glass items, as well as it also references how many
Key recycled. Wait, no.
total items. Do you see that? It's kind of weird because the total glass is part of the total, right? But you see class, it mentions glass items and total items. 1/6 of the total items he recycled were glass. He recycled 25 glass items. How many total items? You see how it kind of bounces back and forth between the glass and the total. We all see that? Now, we do know one of these two numbers, Jalen. Which one do we know?
We know glass items.
Glass was how many?
25.
But we don't know how many total items he took to the recycle place. So we could represent that T. Okay, if we make it a T, I'm going to put a little hook on the T so it doesn't look like a plus sign. And so that's how we're representing it. Now the comparison comes in the first sentence. Read that first sentence for us again, if you would, Jalen.
1/6 of the items Oscar recycled were glass.
All right, now class, when it first mentions items, do you understand that that is referring to the total items? 1/6 of the total items, I can't write today, were glass. At your seats, write the equation and solve. 1/6 of the total items were glass. Write your equation and solve. Joel, sit up nice and tall. There you go. 1/6, of course, class, means 1/6. I'm not going to change anything there. But Ben, what does of mean?
Multiply.
So I'm going to change this to a raised dot here. And then total items. Well, Ben, we're calling the total items
T.
T. And then it says were. Well, class, were is our
Equal sign.
verb, so it's our equal sign. And then it says glass, so Ben, back to you. Instead of glass, we'll just put
25.
25. If we wanted to condense it just a little bit more so it looks better, 1/6 T equals 25. How many had that as your equation? Questions on getting that equation? This was a little bit more tricky. Questions? All right, now then, how do we get the T by itself, Ben?
Alright. Multiply.
By,
1/6.
well, that would give me 1/36, wouldn't it? If I multiplied a 6 times a 6, that'd be 1/36. I don't want that to happen. I want to cancel. So in order to cancel, I need to put what number in the top?
6.
And in the bottom, I'll put the 1 so that they both cancel away to give me the T. But what I did on one side, so the other side also gets multiplied by,
1/6.
by
6.
6/1, right? The 6 over 1, or just 6, you could say. And we multiply 25 times 6, anybody we get? I think 6/4 is $1.50. Apparently he recycled 150 items. 25 of them were glass, but there were 150 total items. How many had that? 150. Questions on that? I want you now to drop down to numbers 24 through 26 and do those on your own. We go back to a little bit more straightforward. There's just a number that needs to be represented with a letter. And I wanted to spend a little bit more time with you on these multiple people or multiple things referenced type word problems. Next week we'll be working a little bit more with those kind of word problems. My eyes. All right, let's take a look at these together. Number 24, what was your equation? And let's go to Kirsten.
2x plus 3 equals 19.
Excellent. You could get away with 3 plus 2x, but better is 2x plus 3 equals 19. And once you solved, what did you get for your answer?
Positive 8.
X equals 8. How many had this equation and this answer on 24? All right, questions from those who did not? Any questions? All right, look at number 25. What did you get for your answer, Elaine?
L equals 22.
Well, I'm not looking for the answer. What did you get for your equation? Sorry, did I say answer? I might have said answer. What did you get for your equation?
2L plus 6 equals 50.
All right, and of course I'll write the L as a cursive L. 2L plus 6 equals 50. And what did you get for your answer?
22.
L equals 22. How many had that equation, that answer on number 25? All right, questions on that one? All right, number 26. What did you get for this one here? Joel?
X negative 5 equals 11.
Now you said, Joel, look at 26 carefully, and I'm going to read what you wrote, and you see if you spot the difference. 5 less than a number is 11. What did you leave out?
I left out the 1/2.
Forgot the half. Okay, so let's amend your answer just a little bit. What should it be for your equation?
1/2 x negative 5 equals 11.
There we go. We got the 5 less than. We just need to make sure we did half a number. So we'll have 1/2. What was your letter again? Is it x? 1/2 x minus 5 equals 11, you said? Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah, 1/2 x minus 5 equals 11. And so, how many had that equation, first of all? All right, and so what should we have gotten for our answer then? Griffin, did you have that equation?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you get for your answer?
32.
X equals 32 is correct. And I believe, Joel, you had 16 as your answer, didn't you?
No, I had 8.
Oh, I see what you did. Did you have the right equation? You just forgot to say the 1/2?
Yes, and
Oh.
then I noticed it, but then I forgot I did it the wrong way.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so I think you've already found your mistake. Joel, you added the 5 to get your 16. 1/2 x equals 16. But what should you do to get the x by itself?
You multiplied it by 2.
Multiply it by 2 over 1. Instead, you multiplied by 1/2, didn't you? And that's where you got your 8 from. So yes, make sure you show those steps. Because again, if you have to show canceling, if you show 1/2, you're going to realize, wait, that doesn't cancel. So make sure we show it on both sides so we don't make careless mistakes. How many had that equation, that answer? That equation, that answer? Questions on number 26? That one got a little bit of trouble for us. Questions? All right, flip back now, if you would, to page 452. So just flip a page back. And there are just a few problems we did not have time to finish in our last lesson. I want to go ahead and finish them now because these problems are a little more involved, these equations, but just solving them now. Let's go back to that. 13 to 21, the odd, at the top of page 452. And we'll round out the hour today working these equations. Page 452, numbers 13 to 21, the odd numbered problems. let's go and take a look at these together. Starting with number 13, and let's start with Jalen. What do we need to do to solve number 13?
Number 13. Add the no, never mind.
Subtract the 8y from 13y.
Good. Combine these two like terms together to get
5y.
negative 3 equals negative 2. Then
Add the positive 3 to both sides.
and that'll give us 5y is equal to 1. And then,
Divide both sides by 5.
now, class, what is 1 divided by 5?
0.2.
You could say 0.2, or you could just say 1/5.
Yeah.
Right? So you have a pizza divided 5 ways, 1/5. It would not be wrong, certainly, to say y equals 0.2. That would be fine as well. How many had one of those two answers on this one? It was fine until we got to the answer, and then the answer was just a little weird. I don't know that we'd seen one quite like this yet. Questions on number 13? All right, let's take a look at number 15, and let's go over to Luciana. What do we need to do?
First, you gotta add the inverse of 0.8, which is, and then do 0.5m equals 2.0. And you gotta add negative 0.5.
Is the 0.5 a separate term from the m?
No.
What's going on between the 0.5 and the m?
Oh, you gotta divide it.
We gotta divide that 0.5 away from both sides, which means over here we'll do a little boinking to get
0.04
well, we boink to make this number into a
percentage. Wait.
well 2.0 divided by 0.5. So Luciana, we remember when we were younger we said we can't divide by a decimal, right? Well, that's true when you use a division house, but it's equally true when you use a fraction bar to divide, isn't it? I can't divide by a 0.5, so I have to move the decimal back in both cases so that it becomes, instead of a 0.5, it's just 5. And instead of 2.0, it's
20.
20. Same thing here. I move the decimal back to make this a 20. I move the decimal back to make this a 5. And it just becomes 20 divided by 5. Does that make sense? And so our answer should be 4. Now, let me throw this thought out there. When you get to this point, how many are thinking 2.0? Wouldn't it be lazier and easier just to write 2? And 0.5 is the same thing, class, as
5.
a half, right? It's not the same thing as 5, it's the same thing as a half. And then if you wanted to, do you see that these are the same thing? And if you multiply by 2 over 1, you still get 4. You don't have to change it over to fraction necessarily. I'm just saying you could. How many got 4 on this one here? That was a little bit trickier. Questions? Let's go to the next one, and let's go to Ben. What do we need to do?
Add or multiply the 2 and the 20.
Well, the negative 2 and the 20 to get
Negative 40.
negative 40. Excellent job. And then
Divide the 10
on
the other side.
both sides, there we go, to get p is equal to
4.
when the signs are different. There we go. Just like different signs in multiplication gives negative, different signs in division also gives negative. P equals negative for our answer. Looking at the next one, let's go to Griffin. What do we need to do?
First, add 5 on both sides.
And that's going to give us
2y over 11 equals 8.
Keep the sign of the greater.
Negative 8.
Negative 8. There we go. And then
Multiply 11 over 2.
good. That'll cancel the 2 and the 11 and just get y by itself. But what I do on the left,
You have to do to the other side.
the right as well, we'll multiply by 11 over 2. And this time, we haven't seen this in a while, bless you. We haven't needed to do this in a while, but I should probably put that negative 8 over.
1.
But here's the danger, class. We all see that 2 can cancel with 8 to get
4.
4 and 1. But don't lose that negative. It's not 1 and 4, class. It's 1 and negative 4. So that when we get our answer, Griffin, we get
Negative 44.
negative 44. How many kept that negative? You had negative 44. How many of you, the negative disappeared and just had positive 44? Yeah, be oh so careful with that. Coming over here now, the last problem we did, and let's go to Michael for this one. Number 21, what do we do?
I did that yesterday.
Yeah, we're doing it right now on the board. So Michael, what do we do to solve this equation?
First we go to the right side.
Good.
We add negative 17 plus negative 2 to get negative 19.
Excellent job. Then what?
Take negative 21, actually add positive 21 to both sides.
Perfect.
And then, add positive 21 plus positive 19 to get, 2.
Positive 2. And so over here we still have that 2/5 b, Michael.
You want, to multiply by the reciprocal.
Which is
5 over 2
good.
on both sides.
On both sides. Okay, good.
And then you, cancel.
Right. And that just gives me b.
Cancel the 2 and 2 on that side.
After all, we don't necessarily have to write it over 1 to see that it technically would still be over 1 and cancel with the other 2. So our answer is 5. How many of b equals 5 for the last one? And then we go 5 for 5 on these. These were a little bit more challenging. 5 for 5. A few of you, how about 4 out of 5? Just missed 1. Questions? All right, your homework this evening. Page 455, numbers 1 through 11. So a little shorter homework assignment than usual. Should be a nice little change of pace for you. Page 455, numbers 1 through 11. We will have a quiz in our next lesson over writing equations and solving equations. Have a wonderful rest of your day. You are dismissed.